Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For anyone that's new here, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. Oh, she's off. And today I'm going to be showing you some of my favourite houseplants that I didn't feature in my houseplant tour video. My favourite plants do tend to change quite a bit, but the ones that I'm going to show you today have kind of been solid, consistent favourites. Solidly, consistently, favoritely. Have been favourites of mine for a while. Any that I don't talk about down here in this room is probably just because I've already featured them in my houseplant tour video, so I will link that above and in the description box below as well. I'll also pop in my plant parenting skill meter that I used before again, which is basically just a scale of how I think each plant is difficulty-wise, and I hope it helps. So my first favourite, I will have to move you around to because she's quite big, is my Variegated Monstera Albo. She's grown so much recently and she's pretty much the same height as me now. She's not highly variegated like some of my smaller ones, but I just literally love her. She came with a tiny moss pole, which I let her outgrow for so long, but I have recently got around to making her a nice new big one. When I first got her, she was literally only about that big, and that was only about 2 years ago, so she has grown really, really quickly. Another big baby that I'm absolutely obsessed with is my snake plant. This one's a Laurenti. Also, the pot that she's in is actually just a waste paper basket, but sometimes getting hold of big, nice indoor plant pots is quite difficult, and they are just so much cheaper as well. I mean, I think that cost me about £5. Snake plants have amazing air purifying qualities, and they're literally just like the easiest plants ever to look after. I mean, I will throw some water on her every few weeks, sometimes every month, and she's just really happy. They're also really, really adaptable when it comes to temperature, humidity. Basically, so long as they're getting some natural light, they're going to be absolutely fine. They are not fussy plants. I've got some other snake plants down here too. This one's a moonshine, and this one's a Kirky, I think it is. Because they're so air purifying, they're literally amazing plants to have in your bedroom, obviously, but also because they're so easy to care for, they're so chilled, they are brilliant beginner plants as well. Oh my God, dead leg. So this is my Anthurium clarinervium. It was a wishlist plant of mine for so long, but when I actually bit the bullet and ordered one for the first time, it got really badly damaged in the post, which was so sad. The seller had packaged it really well, but the couriers just obviously had not taken care of it at all. It looked like it had been jumped on. So I then managed to find 2 in 1 week off lovely people on Facebook groups, and I couldn't decide between them, so I ended up ordering both of them. And I got this one first, and then this one I ordered, and actually, so it was one plant. This was just one plant, but it was ridiculously root bound and crammed into this teeny tiny pot. I've got photos somewhere, I'll put them in. I know anthuriums do quite like being root bound, but this was just ridiculous. So I divided it, and now I have got 3 of them. I just love the velvety texture of their leaves. They're literally such beautiful plants. That's very loud playing. Again, these ones are really low maintenance, so even though they're quite rare and they can be a bit pricey, they are actually pretty decent beginner plants, I would say. These 2 have also popped out little shield leaves, which you can actually just trim back if you don't want them there. Like, it will help focus the energy of your plant on the new growth, but I quite like them, so I'm going to just leave them for now. And look at these little baby leaves as well. They're so diddy. Also, this is the saddest thing. You know, I spoke about how much I loved my Anthurium Aurora in my plant room tour video. Look what's happened. To be fair, it is completely my own fault. I basically decided to move her so that she would be closer to the light, but also that was right by a door that Yoli always stands by and wags her tail whenever anybody walks past. And basically she's just been absolutely beaten to shreds by the tail. It's not the first plant I've lost to the tail, but she was one of my favourites. Even when I'm sat at my desk now, I'm trying to train Yoli to come around the left-hand side because Otherwise, her tail whacks these ones and they're starting to get split leaves as well. And I'm just like, ah! I love Yoli, but I also love my plants. This next one's not particularly rare. It's just kind of standard really, but it's just a Pothos plant. But it's always one of my favourites. I actually grew her from just one cutting back when I was first getting into houseplants, and since then I've propagated her so much. I've actually got a pretty well-established little plant over there that was a baby of this one. But yeah, I just love her. Also, some of you on Instagram were asking why I bubble wrap my windows. So I've actually bubble wrapped a couple of them. The first reason is just it kind of acts as frosted glass. So if you haven't got curtains or blinds, it gives you a bit of privacy. But in regards to plants, the reason I do it is because if you've got especially single glazing or a cold window, it just kind of helps to keep the heat in the room a bit more. And also plants such as spider plants or pothos plants that don't like too much direct sun hitting their leaves, it just acts as a filter. So it filters out a lot of the harsh sunlight that would usually scorch their leaves and protects them a little bit. There we go, a little plant hack for you. But also I just wanted to show you this little spider plant I've got here that's propagating in water. It has literally only been in water for about 2 days. They literally grow roots so quickly. I know you don't have to put them in water, but I just really like watching the roots growing. So yeah. I wasn't going to show you propagations in this video, but I have got a few down here, so maybe I will. So most of my propagations are still in my plant room upstairs, but I have got this Syngonium albo, which is rooting in water at the moment. I just thought the variegation on this one was so beautiful, so I had to kind of chop it to preserve it. But I think it's been in water for about 2 weeks-ish now. But look at that little root. And also, I very carefully lift it out, one of the top nodes just there has started to produce a root as well. So technically, if I wanted to, I could chop it again. But I don't know if I will. I'll wait and see. But yeah, just look at how gorgeous that is. So the 3 little water propagations that I showed you in my plant room tour are literally doing so well. I would say my Pothos and Pilia in the middle are probably just about ready to be potted up now. Yeah, look at those roots. With these little bubbles, I always get so nervous taking them out. Oh yeah, that's going to be a bit of a struggle. Just because I don't want to break them all off and have to start again. The Peperomia frost, I think I'm probably going to leave in water for another few weeks or so, but you can see all the little new baby leaves forming around the roots. Peperomia frost was actually a wish list plant of mine for ages. I know it's not particularly rare or anything, but I just had never had it. And oh, just look at the colour of those leaves. I just love the kind of silvery green. The reason they're chopped in half is just because you can propagate peperomia with basically cutting any bit of the plant. So I chopped off half the leaf and did some in soil as well. And as you can see, it's kind of, yeah, it's producing lots of little babies around this one. I just wanted to see which method would be quicker. I wanted to know if it'd be water or this, and the verdict is this. So if you want to propagate a peperomia, then I would recommend chopping a bit of the leaf off, or chopping the leaf in half, potting them in soil, watering them, popping a bit of cling film over and leaving them in a bright indirect spot for a while. This one is an avocado tree that I started, oh god, probably about 5 or 6 months ago now. But yeah, it's doing so well. I got really obsessed with propagating avocados during lockdown, so I've got about 15 plants now, but this one's definitely doing the best out of all of them. I know I have spoken before about propagating avocados, but I find the easiest, quickest, most effective way to do it is just by taking an avocado pit, peeling the pit, putting it in some wet kitchen roll, and then putting that kitchen roll wrapped pit in either a Tupperware box or a sealed sandwich bag and leaving it for a couple of weeks. Try to leave it somewhere fairly warm, and when you look back, you should have a little root. When you have got your root, then you can just take 2 toothpicks and suspend the bottom half, the root end, in water, and it should start to grow a little tree. I've got my elephant ear and my fiddle leaf fig here as well, which are 100% favourites of mine, but I have spoken about them before. So I'm gonna move on to some newbies. Another one that I absolutely love and people go slightly crazy over is the Pink Princess Philodendron. To be honest, when the hype first kind of started around these plants, I really wasn't that fussed about them. I just kind of thought they were overrated and a bit meh. But I've stocked them in my shop since and propagated them, and I don't know, they just kind of grow on you. I mean, they are beautiful, obviously. I thought they would just kind of, I don't know, I feel like now I see them as very, very special, and before I was just kind of like, not a fan. I was also just really surprised at how quickly they grow. Like, I don't know why I thought they'd be slow because they're a philodendron, but this was just a little propagation a few months back and it's popped out 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 or 5 leaves since then. This one's technically for my shop and not for me, but the plant room upstairs is getting really, really hot, so I have to keep rotating them, and so she's down here with me for now and I could admire her. I'm just going to show you some other rare philodendrons because I love them. Soil just went everywhere. Hold the soil in place this time. This is my Philodendron White Princess. It's got such beautiful variegation and again grows really, really quickly when it's in the right conditions. It's also got this little new leaf appearing here, which I am literally trying so hard not to help. I don't know if anybody else gets this, but whenever I see a new leaf start to unfurl, especially if it's variegated, I think because I get really excited about what it could look like, and I always think, I can't wait, I've just got to do it. So I always end up trying to help, and the amount of leaves that I've damaged doing that. So yeah, it's literally taking a lot of effort not to help right now. These ones do tend to be quite spenny just because they're really hard to get hold of. Propagating them is time consuming. It isn't always 100% effective. And also there's just not that many people doing it because they are so hard to get hold of. So yeah, if you see a rare plant that's really, really expensive, chances are that is probably the reason why. I'm just letting this one kind of do her thing for now. I think at some point I probably will chop, propagate and potentially sell bits of her, but for now I'm just loving watching her grow. This one is a Philodendron Milanochrysam. Milanochrysam? I think that's right. I've got to be very gentle with it because I haven't staked it yet, so it's a bit wobbly. It's also pushed out its latest leaf upside down, and I have absolutely no idea why. Very bizarre. Again, these ones just have such gorgeous velvety leaves, and they're really fast growers as well, and they're also super easy to propagate. Finally, with the philodendrons, this is a Philodendron Varicosum. I would say this one is definitely the slowest growing out of all my philodendrons, which is really weird because I've heard so many people say that they're really fast growing, but I don't know, maybe it's just me. But it's just so gorgeous, and I literally love those fuzzy stems. Look, can you see? That's probably a better one to show you. Look how fuzzy it is. I think those are all of my favourites at the moment. I don't know. I feel like I'm... Oh no, I forgot my Hoya. She is definitely up there with my favourites. I just love Hoyas in general, but this one for me is just... She's so beautiful. I stocked this one when I first started the Jungle Haven and I just fell in love with her and couldn't bear to let this one go. So ended up buying one off myself. Although her leaves are really dark, she does get this kind of beautiful sunstress colour when she's been under a grow light. It's almost like a deep purple, but she hasn't been under there for a while, so I can't show you that. I've got loads of Hoyas that I was going to include in this, but I think what I might do is make a completely separate video about them at some point. It goes without saying as well that my yucca plant, Yasmin, is also high up on my favourites list, but I've shown you her in another video, so I'm not going to include her on this list. My euphorbia as well, again, firm favourite, but ooh, I have talked about her before. I won't bore you with all of the ones that I've already been through, but if there's any you would like to know more about or see more of, then let me know. So I think those are all of my current favourites. I am currently on the hunt for an Anthurium magnificum because it's been on my wish list for ages, and I really want to build up my Anthurium collection. I love them so much. I realise I haven't really gone into detail with kind of care needs and stuff like that in this video, but if anybody's got any questions about any of them, then feel free to let me know in the comments below and I will do my best to help. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Have a lovely week, everyone, and stay tuned for more weekly plant videos.